This is a help video for a piece called Marchinha de Carnaval. It's on the current Trinity Grade 3 list. It's not in the Trinity published book. It's in a separate book, which is this one here, and it's a duet. It's printed over 2 pages, which is why I've done a photocopy and stuck it on so that I don't need to do a page turn. We're going to do it in 4 sections. The first section is essentially the whole first page, and you'll see that there's a first time bar and a second time bar at the bottom of the first page. We're only going to do the carrying on version, so it's the second time bar and not the first time bar. You wouldn't do a repeat in the exam. So here's the very first bit. You start on a rest. It's a crotchet rest. So if in your head you go 1, 2, rest. That's how it goes. There are some notes with little curved lines, ties, when both notes are the same. You don't need to play the notes, each note. It turns 2 shorter notes into 1 longer note. So at the end of that first line, F, E, D, C. It's a slightly tricky rhythm. It's what we call a syncopated rhythm. So listen to it. That's the best way to learn to play that. Here's that first phrase again. 1, 2, rest. The next phrase is exactly the same, so we're going to do that twice. And 1, 2, rest. The third phrase, starting on the last 2 notes of line 2, is starting the same, but it carries on differently, goes up to a high A. So here's the third phrase. You'll need to move your hand to get that high A. You can move back to first position during the open strings. The fourth phrase is exactly the same as the first one. So we're going to play the first 4 phrases up to bar 18, the beginning of bar 18. And 1, 2, rest. And here's the 5th phrase, starts on the last 2 notes of bar 18. Beginning of the next line, you've got a D sharp. Both of the D's in that bar are sharp. So it will go D sharp, B, B, D sharp, E. And here's the whole of the first page. This is section A. 1, 2, rest. Now the next section, which I'm calling section B, uses some high notes. You've got high G sharp, fret 4, string 1, high A, string 1, fret 5, high B, string 1, fret 7, high C, string 1, fret 8, high D, string 1, fret 10, and high E, string 1, fret 12. Start off by going fret 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12. sharp, A, B, C, D, E. Now, despite there being high notes and it's sounding quite fast, it's got a very easy pattern to it. Starts with 2 E's, 2 G sharps, A's and B's. So E's, then 3 notes going up that scale that you've just played, then 2 E's again, starts on the next note of the scale, the A, and plays 3 notes going up. 2 E's again, starts on the next note of the scale, the B, and plays 3 notes going up. And then goes back to the 2 E's and 3 notes of that scale going up. Only one high A, high E at the end. So here are the notes for that section B. E, G sharp, A, B, E, A, B, C, E, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. Try and see the pattern there. It's much easier to remember it from the pattern than it is to think about a whole series of different notes. So, section B, all the way through. 1, 2, rest. The third section, starting on the last 2 notes of bar 32, going up to the first chord on bar 40, has swapped the parts around. So now you're playing the accompaniment and my part, guitar 2, has got the tune. We're going to start off with your right hand, looking at how you're going to play that. There is a bass note, which of course you're going to play with your thumb. And then 3 fingers on strings 1, 2 and 3, third finger on string 1, second finger on string 2, first finger on string 3, and you draw your fingers in to play all 3 strings simultaneously. So you go bass note, treble strings. Practice going smooth and even, and hear all of the notes when you play it. When you're happy with that, add the left hand in. Your first chord will have a G sharp in it, which gives you an E major. You play that 4 times, and then C and A. Your bass note shifts to string 5, now you're playing A minor, 4 of those. Then it goes back to the E major, and back to the A minor, but all 4 notes are played at the same time this time. Do it gently, don't be too vigorous with your right hand because that makes it more difficult. Much more likely to get all of the notes simultaneous if you do it gently. Playing chords is not difficult. Changing chords is where the tricky bits can come. One trick that I found for doing this is to use 2 fingers in that pattern, even though you don't need a note on string 4, because then you can just hop both fingers down for the A minor, hop them back across and hop them back across. You've got the pattern prepared if you do that. So here's your part for section C. The guitar 2 part has 6 quaver E's before you start playing. So I'm just going to say those. E, 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 E. And then section D is very easy, starts on the last two notes of bar 40, and you're essentially playing the tune that guitar 2 has just had. So it goes. Maybe you can hear the pattern that you had back in section A. And it's the same rhythmic pattern at the end, even though the notes are different. So here's section D all the way through, just your tune. 1, 2, rest. And here's the whole piece all the way through with the accompaniment.